off. My birthday is coming up, and what's happening right now is going to be this is the first birthday present just arrived via the mail. Today I have it right here. So came in a priority mail thing. So I am going to do an unboxing, well, an unwrapping of my birthday present right here. I'm going to do it right now. So this is from my mama. And let's just do this. I don't know what it is. So probably should have gotten a knife or scissors or something like that. Okay. It is open. I actually don't know what this is. I need the bubble wrap. Throw that out there. Okay. I don't know what that is. Somebody might recognize it. Let's just look at this real quick. It's Star Wars. And it's like a daily calendar. This is set for January 22nd. It's actually not the 22nd of January. So we're going to probably have to go through these. It says, I think that it's EADU, so Eandu? Eandu? Is that how you pronounce it? I hope that's how you pronounce it. And it says, controlled by Tarkin Initiative, the schedule mountainous planet, known for its rain, habitat, nerf herders. Very few realize that it is the home to an imperial laboratory where scientists seek to unlock the mysteries of the Kyber crystal weaponization. Huh? That's very interesting. That was on the 22nd of January. I don't know if I should skip ahead. This is for Saturday and Sunday, the 23rd and 24th of January. So this says the Death Star. Let me see a picture of the Death Star. That I recognize. Moon size. DS-1 orbital battle station is built in secret to be the Empire's most devastating weapon, capable of destroying an entire planet. The super weapon is intended to quell any hints of opposition to the Imperial rule. Instead, the existence of such a monstrous weapon spurs pockets of resistance across the galaxy to join the organized rebellion. I don't know if I should read all of these. The Zayton class Star Destroyer. Palpatine was able to assemble a new class of Star Destroyers during his exile on Exegol. Exendol. These Zayton class ships built for the Final Order featured planet-killing lasers. These guys have planet-killing lasers. Let's see. I don't know if I have you guys read these things. There's still a lot of days left. everything to protect her daughter, Jin. So that's that. So you can see her there, Lyra. Banthas, these large furry mammals, travel in herds across the desert waste of Tatooine. They often serve as mounts to Tusken Raiders, as two species share a close, somewhat mythical bond. Banthas and the Tusken Raiders. There's some Banthas. They're actually I actually like Banthas. Banthas are pretty awesome. The interrogation droid. These pitless droids are designed to. Everybody's seen the interrogation droid interrogating Princess Leia. And the even one was used on Grogu in The Mandalorian. Kaijimi. Kaijimi? Kaijimi? I guess that's the name of the planet. The planet that's home to all types of scoundrels, including spice runners. Kaijimi was outrunner by the First Order stormtroopers, who regularly terrorized the general population of inhabitants. Kaijimi. Okay, here we go. Oh, why is this so difficult? Okay. My name is Sean. I'm doing this wrong. This is a weird debut stream. So a channel that's going to be called This Is Not a Test. And each one of them is going to be each one is going to be something. This is pretty much going to be like the potpourri of my channel. This is where like things could spin off from this. Another channel that I'm going to have, because my birthday is coming up soon, and it is going to be the worst birthday ever, and it's going to chronologize things going up to my birthday and after my birthday, and of course on my birthday. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to do karaoke. I don't claim to be a professional singer. My singing has been described as a cat in heat, soaked in gasoline, and then set on fire. So hopefully I can do better than that. I'm going to probably ruin all of my favorite songs, and I'm going to create like a playlist. That's going to be called Loud Noises. The next thing I'd like to do is a question and answering, where you guys ask questions and I answer whatever it is. I don't do any research on the answers. I just answer from my general knowledge of what I know in my head. If they're complex questions, they're going to be wrong answers. The next thing that we're going to try to do is I want to do tabletop games, and that's going to be called Playing With. And they're going to, so people who are on chat and stuff like that, they can actually interact with me while I'm playing the game. Those are going to be live. And I think that's where we're going to stop for now, as
far as the channels go. I don't know how many of the channels are going to be up and running by my birthday. Obviously, the worst birthday ever is going to definitely be up because that's probably where I'm going to be doing right after I finish This Is Not a Test. I don't know how much live I'm going to be doing for it, but that's pretty much going to go. My co-host right here, that's Cuda. Um, she's going to probably be with me with anything related to Disney, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to do. I don't need to do anything. That's pretty good. And yeah, so I hope you like my singing. We're gonna figure this whole thing. I'm figuring this whole thing out. I have no idea what I'm doing um, with this whole thing. So, um, you guys, take care of yourself. Be well. All right, bye.
You are live. All right. Sit back. That's good. That's not gonna work. Okay. Now you're too far away. Still too far. I think I'm still too far away. Want to get it just so I can get picked up on the microphone. Don't want to be too far away. Okay. All right. Tomorrow is the big day. I'm going to be doing a semi live stream, not live stream, of the moment I turn 50. Um, there's nobody in the chat, so I don't have anybody to talk to, so I'm just talking to myself. Just fine. Gonna talk about something a little serious today. Hopefully not too serious. You can hopefully laugh about it. Um, I I have depression. It's not a secret. It's crippling. And you know it's one of the reasons why I'm now doing these videos. Just basically kind of get me out of it, and I also know that there's probably maybe millions of other people, especially with the pandemic happening right now, that are feeling isolated and you know not really seeing where the future for themselves are going to hold. And I don't have any quick fix or any way for anybody to just turn themselves around, um, for it. And I try to be funny. One of the really hard things is that last year, around this time, actually, right around my birthday, we were starting to plan. my 49th birthday, we were starting to plan this huge celebration. I was going to make a really big deal about, finally turning 50. And in case you can't figure out the timeline, this was the COVID 19 was hitting the Hunan province pretty hard right then. The WHO was already saying that this could potentially, affect everybody in the world, but it just didn't. It wasn't here at the time. It wasn't actually in the United States. So I don't know if I just felt like we were isolated enough, and this wasn't going to happen. Um, so I was, you know, planning a huge party. Basically, I wanted the world to be there. One of my goals was to get up at rope drop at Walt Disney World and try to do with the four parks, with the Four Kingdoms, try to do 50 rides in one day. So it would be 50 rides on my 50th birthday, on the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. So I was going to do a 50-50-50. And as you can see, I am not at Walt Disney World. I am not, I'm not going to pull back a curtain and you'll see the green screen, and I'm actually, at, a Disney Resort Hotel. You know, I am not in Florida. And I know Florida right now is getting hit pretty hard with this new strain that came from England, and it's very scary, and I can understand why people are afraid and um, don't know where to turn. I can't I don't I won't even like attempt, like my brain can't handle how other people's depression works, so I can only talk about how my depression works. And it's it, it comes in waves but doesn't, and it's not um but it's definitely, it seems like it's always there. And maybe it does keep me from, being happier in my life. And you know um I don't even know what it prevents from me. um I know when it hit me pretty hard, um when I you know I you know I could not even turn, I didn't have anywhere to turn to. I didn't have a God to turn to. I didn't have a church or an organization or a support group. I had a lot of people, um, family and friends, all doing their best to support me. And, what they offered, um, was, even the help they were offering was not what I needed, and I literally had to like do myself. So for me, the medication, I went through several different types of medication, and it never seemed to um, it. All right, it's hard to describe. It helped, but my body adapted to it. So it's like, my depression became stronger than the medication that I was taking. And when I stopped taking the medication, my probably was when my depression was probably at its worst. Um, and I am very self-destructive. I, yeah, I am definitely a self-sabotager, and it's not just physical suicide. Even though I did consider it, it's the kind of the social suicide that I would do. Um, it's one of the main reasons that I kind of attribute myself as an introvert, even though it's I have trouble with the whole I'm not a labels person, so that's why when I say I'm an introvert, you're like going, how can you be an introvert? You're very outgoing, and it's what it is that the reason I always saw myself as an introvert is because I do not get power or inspiration or motivation, or I'm not influenced. Is one of the main reasons why I have a lot of trouble accepting hypnotism because I can't. My trust levels of other people are just not there. I don't trust them. I don't trust them to have my best interest in mind. I always trust people to have their own best interest in mind, and sometimes I doubt that. But I don't see anybody outside of myself as having my best, Sean's best interest in mind. And I know that sounds very selfish, um, but it's definitely something that I've definitely worked towards. Trying to trust people, trying to take down my walls that have been that I put up, and it's it is what it is. Um, and I gotta stop saying so much. So let's try something different. So where was I going with it? I see. I said and lost my whole train of thought. Uh, the singing. If you guys can last through that, I applaud you. Anybody can listen through a full any one of the songs. I have 3 songs right up right now. If you can listen to the not mute it, not mute it. If you can listen to that song from the beginning to the end, I applaud you. You have either no ear at all, or you are just you are some kind of special. And I want to be your friend if you can handle my singing. Oh, I think with 3 is the magic number. I even said I can't even believe that women that I've dated over the years um, put up, not only put up with it, they complimented me. They were, my ego, huge head, I was so wonderful and I sound so great. And, maybe some of it's the microphone. I can blame the microphone all I want, but it's not. I don't have an ear. I'm, partially deaf anyway, so that doesn't help. And there's no, you know, the sound in my head is not the sound that I'm creating out of my mouth. And maybe I'll work on that one of these days. And if maybe 10, 15 videos, I'll definitely have it in the description. If I actually sound palatable, I will definitely have it in the description down below that maybe you can handle this one. But yeah, that's that's a kind of a weird thing. But I'm definitely getting off track because you know that's I think that's how I deal with it. That's how I deal with depression. Um, I just move on to something else, think about other things, and get through it. Um, One of the suicides that um, kind of hit me hard is Robin Williams. I don't know, maybe I see myself semi as a stand up comedian. I'm sitting down. But somewhat, trying to be funny, and the songs I'm doing is for laughs. You know, these are my interests. I actually like singing, and I'm just not very good at it. I'm actually probably one of the worst singers out there, but it, you know, that so that's why Robin Williams, I mentioned Robin Williams, the sacred name Robin Williams. But here, his suicide, I always saw, you know, that's, you know, he survived, I think he was, I know he was in his, season 70s? No, no. However many years he was alive, I can imagine him constantly. I know what the constant, like, just, just end, just be done. Um, it's got to be better. It's got to be better. It's got to be better without my life, and and when that's constant. That doesn't even those magic pills that they give you, that help suppress and raise your norepinephrines and lower your serotonins and all this other stuff that the brain chemistry things that people do, all that wacky stuff, it doesn't cure you. It doesn't. Well, I said you did not cure me. Um, I lived. I live with it now. It's just I'm. Better today. I'm better. One of the things that helped me get through it is people who hated me, and I just never wanted to give them the satisfaction of you know not being here, not being the thorn in their side, not being that reminder that why they hated me. Um, and that, you know, sometimes gets me through the next hour, gets me through the next minute. And, that's, it's hard to say. But, getting back to Robin Williams, it's just, you know, that in his final days, that was it. I feel like he did, you know, he fought it as long as he fought it as long as he could, and that was it. Um, Bourdain, all the other suicides. I'm not a big Bourdain fan, so I'm not, you know, I don't feel a kinship with Bourdain, and I didn't even know about his depression until his death. So, but Robin Williams, like I've always known, you know, that kind of that manic personality, kind of the using the drugs to escape and all the things, the self-destructive stuff that he did in his life. I can definitely understood it. Definitely, you know the one of the big mistakes or things that people attribute. They think like doing the drugs is what heightens that stuff, and I found that it's a limiter, and sometimes you need limits. Like you know, if you're on prescribed drugs, and it's limiting that manic, or you know, that creative processing that you have, sometimes you need to have it. It's healed down, a few notches. And, you know, I, you know, just for myself, I just, I, I didn't feel like I needed the limiter. Um, I didn't need to be taken out of my where I'm at. But I definitely, you know, just did not feel the help. And for people who are going through a very similar thing, it's not easy. It's just, and I don't know what your current trigger is or how. Um, I don't know how say like I will, you know, you know, I get through this. I'll get through this minute. I'll get through this, this hour, this day, this week. Um, I just know how I do it, and sometimes I just have to get up. Sometimes I just have to, get my pants on and get my shirt on and get ready and come into a routine, go to work, and you know I'm using these videos, as kind of like um, something you make a routine out of. Just keep doing them, do them every day. Um, and I'm not big on routine. I'm not big on schedule. I'm not big on you know here I'm not big. I'm small. No, I don't know, but I don't adhere to you know it's kind of like I get it stuck in my brain. As you can see this video so far, I've already jumped around several different ideas because my brain is just going there. And it all boils down to I just really wanted to be at Walt Disney World. I was gonna shave this beard in December, but um I don't know why I kept it. I don't know why I still have it. Um, and but it's going to do. You know, everything's okay. And if you if anything, I'm getting through this. And whatever you're going through, just say to yourself, you can get through it. And I can't say, hey, I love, one of the things that early on, um, and even before I was even diagnosed with my depression, one of the things early on that everybody just kept telling me like, oh, things will get better, it will be better. And the only thing that got better was my depression. My depression got much better. Got much better at basically attacking me, much better at saying just let go. um you know you don't have to hold on anymore, you don't have to fight. And you know I'll I just, sometimes you can't, you just don't want to get up out of bed. I remember, laying in my bed for weeks, not solely in my bed, but just, you know, so unmotivated, that I couldn't even, do anything. And I've had times when I've been overly motivated and, going at a million miles an hour and, completely off the rails and unhinged and, um,
you know, just just to basically just to basically run away. And it's 50 years. 50 years has definitely been a journey. And I always joke that I thought I was 18 was going to be that was going to be my year. I was going not live to see 19. Um, and when I did, I was like, well, I guess I won't see 20. And when I did, I said, do you think I'll make it to legal drinking age? I mean, I was drinking illegally, and I did. And, I just keep, raise that bar one more notch, just one more, get it, you know, like I said, sometimes it's not even a thing for me, and sometimes it's all I can think about. And I maybe that's the reason why I like the fact that my mind just doesn't have that focus, because I can't imagine what would happen if that's all I would do is focus in on you know my own demise. Because I have, and it's I'm definitely trying out some wacky stuff. And I the funny thing about it is, my present openings, which I don't have any other presents to open. If I did, I would open them. Even I would do another video for that. And I'm gonna probably, you know, cut this off around 30 minutes. So about 5 more minutes of them just listen to me ramble. Um, I'm going to hopefully have my ice cream cake, and I'll eat that. I'll do that live, feeding. And maybe I'll do like all the food that I make or something like that. Do a cooking, or do my own cooking show. I don't know. Um, I'm just winging this, and sometimes that's all we can do is just wing it. I hope everybody is safe. Tomorrow is the national holiday. It's my birthday, and I hope you all do something really special. Treat yourself. Um, for me, it's the most important person I could love is me, and sometimes I forget that. And I so when I watch this video back, I can remind myself, you love yourself. Um, and it's it's kind of a long, strange journey. So we're going to take it. I'm going to take it to see what the conclusion is. It's going to be fun, um, and an adventure. And we're going to go there together. Um, let's see, what can we talk about? Oh, I know what we could talk about. Um, I hate the term husbando. I love the term waifu. I love to have waifus. I think that they're awesome. Pretty much, I like it better than best girl, which is what we used to use for anime characters that we were kind of like, this is the character we like. I can safely say that, going back to Ranma One Half and stuff like that, Akane was always considered everybody's best girl, but for me, it was always Shampoo. She was always my best girl, and I just best girl just didn't quite wait and do it. And there was an anime where the guy described a picture of his wife as his waifu, and that's what caught on. And I love it. I love waifu. Um, and like shampoo, I would consider one of my waifus, and because she's kind of a little near and dear to my heart. Um, and but when they started making, best boy, the best boy of a series, when they started calling the best boy husbando, I just like, I don't know. It's like, is it something you microwave? um, is it, you know, um, one of those outlaw, from Mexico, those banditos, husbandito. I just like husbando. I just don't like. So I'm going to officially. We're going to make this right now because I've only got a few seconds left. So we're going to officially change husbando to habu or hubby. I like hubby better, and that's not with a Y, and that is not with two B's. It's just HUBEE, hubby. Um, and so somebody can be your hubby or your waifu, depending on their whatever gender they want to identify as, and you can have them and love them however you want to. So, and I don't know if you want really awful singer like me to be your hubby, but I will do my best. Um, and yeah, we'll take it like from there. Um, I will probably expand on this. That concept needs its own video. Um, I don't know what series I'd put it with, but I'll figure it out. My gaming, playing with. I definitely want to have people. If anybody's interested in joining any of the game things that I'm doing, doesn't have to be Mechs versus Minions. Um, but if somebody wants to join in, all you got to do is type in the chat and say that where you want to do it, where you want to place the card, because the way that game works is that it just moves. It moves according to what the way the card command line goes. So you don't, you can't change your facing. You can't do this. Just however you set up your command line, and that's how you move and do your actions and things like that. So um, I might, because I think everything is really hard to read. What I might do is run two live videos simultaneously, one on the command lines so everybody can see those. You can have those. You can set up a separate window so you can expand it if you want to see what it's going to do, and one for the board so you can see what's happening in the board so you can make your choices that way. So you can actually switch back and forth. I might do that. I don't know. I don't know where I would keep the chat going. Probably with the command line. That's probably the best place to put it. Um, but we'll figure that out. It's a lot of logistics and things like that. And who knows? I might switch games. I've got a million games to play and things like that. And I wanted to do something with orcs soon. So we'll figure that out. Um, but regardless of everything, I want everybody to be happy. Um, I want you to enjoy it. This is all tongue in cheek that I'm doing. It is, like I said, if you don't don't for a second think that I'm trying to be a serious singer or anything like that. It is, but I am definitely doing my best. But I can't sing. It's painful and it's obvious that it is. But if you can see the humor in my singing, it it's also helping me project my voice a little bit better, which is the reason why I named the series Loud Noises, not Loud Songs, or you know, so you want to be a singer or anything stupid like that. Because I don't think you can call my very off-key, very painful karaoke anything more than just a noise. To read the descriptions. Hopefully, I'll have people commenting, and if you comment, I will definitely, comment. Talk to me. I will definitely respond to any of your comments. And I will probably like it, especially if it's in one of my first comments. I'll probably definitely like it. But it's not Disney World. If I ever get to Disney World, I will definitely shoot something. It won't be as cool as 50-50 on 50, but maybe we'll do 51 50 on 50. I don't have any more favors or things to call in because I used them all up for this year, and as you can see how useful they are and how wonderful that whole thing worked out for me. So I don't have any more favors. I have basically nothing. As far as birthdays are concerned, this is the result of my calling in favors and asking or anything like that. It's depressing. So I think I'm going to end this stream here. But yeah, be well, be safe. From what I can see with people who have gotten COVID and who have recovered from COVID and stuff like that, you don't want this. It's do everything in your power to stay away from getting this. Get vaccinated if you can. I'm an essential worker technically, but I'm pretty much Gen Pop, so I'm waiting just like everybody else. I do not have a scheduled date to get vaccine, so I'm going to continue to do all the safety precautions, and even after I get vaccinated, I'm going to still practice, washing my hands all the time, wearing a mask, and maintaining 6 feet distance, because that's what the science is saying. So I'm going to trust the science. Definitely trust the science more than I trust people. So yeah, so stay safe, be well, and I will post a video of me turning 50. So you can see what it's like for a person to go from being 49 years old to 50 years old. Oh man, I was so excited. Even last year's birthday, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's 49. But I really was looking forward to this birthday. And I think that this is maybe the second to last video with the beard. I think I'll turn 50 and have the beard, and then I will shave it. So 2 videos away. You get the beard, unless there's a last minute. You can always have a last minute reprieve. See if we can get the governor to pardon my beard. But if no, I am pretty much still unknown on YouTube anyway. So if nobody's around and nobody comments and nobody says, save the beard, it will be shave the beard. So, whichever camp you are in, save or shave, just tell me. And just remember, you are loved because I love you. So have a wonderful day. And I will see you all tomorrow. All right, bye.
Oh, why is this so difficult? Okay. My name is Sean.
Okay, we're gonna start this off. My birthday is coming up.
Yay, I'm live. All right. Just a quick because normally I would be getting ready. Let's bring this down a little bit there. Normally I would be getting ready. Be there at rope drop at Disney World, and instead I am just hanging out at my house, not doing anything, and got Cuda right here behind me. She's just as disappointed as I am. But the big question is to save or to shave. And I'm thinking about shaving it off around noon time today, and that's pretty much it. Trying to think if there's anything else that I needed to thing, except that obviously I'm not jumping about and getting ready, and I think I would have tried to do a run, to see how many rides I can get. The test run and how fast I'd have to go. I think I figured out that because most rides are like 10 minutes long, and the travel time usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get to each ride. So it's almost a half hour just to not wait in line. And it would be very, obviously with the extended hours, and I don't even think Disney's doing that right now anyway. It was definitely a mapped out plan, and I'm just going to use the Skyline as one of the rides. So that was going to count as one of the rides. Skyliner, sorry. In Skyliner and the monorail, both of them I was going to use count it as taking a ride on. But yeah, I'm hanging in there. It's not snowing in Florida, which would be the first time ever for my birthday that it did not snow. But that's not the case because it's snowing right now. So yay, snow for my birthday. It's like one of the birthday presents that I can pretty much always count on, no matter where I am, even California. Always seems to snow on my birthday, and so leave a comment. You could just say save for me to keep the beard, or you can say shave for me to lose the beard. Right now, no votes, no views. It is definitely a shave. I'm going to shave the beard. So that's going to be one of my big, I'll do probably a face reveal then. So yeah, happy birthday to me. Haven't had anybody. I have no views. Well, I have a few views. A few people have actually seen the video, so I couldn't say no views. I've had a few people who've seen the video, but nobody's commented. I have no comments on the videos, and so I haven't had my ears are bleeding or please stop. And I think I'm my biggest critic anyways for my lousy singing. But I hope if you are watching, watch this videos and see how long you can last with my my flat, monotone, off key, my horrible voice videos. It's that's pretty much it. I'm going to. I have cake. I have pizza. And this is how I'm spending my birthday. I hope you guys enjoyed my turning 50 video. Actually, 32. I was born on February 10th, 50 years ago. So that would be the actual time that I came into this world. And I'll probably do something for that. Don't know if I'm going to do any gaming. If you guys have any suggestions, nobody's watching or nobody's listening, but if anybody has any suggestions, I will see what I can do. Other than that, have a great day. Most people are at work, so have fun at work. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. Absolutely nothing. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Seems too far away. Okay. Happy birthday, Carvel ice cream cake. This time it's a little one. It's in a bowl. Keep it from leaking out and doing what it wants. And that's it. Figurine. Hopefully by 2:30, I would be done with the Animal Kingdom rides, including the Avatar ride and the flight ride. Uh, should be at Epcot. I think Starship Earth is closed. But Ratatouille should be open. Um, there's the Frozen ride. And of course, the space ride. We get to fly to Mars, and there's a more difficult one. You can that's probably what I'd be doing right now. Magic Kingdom would be the last one. And the reason I'd say the Magic Kingdom for last is because normally there's fireworks and a parade. And usually by that time, the lines to the ride are pretty short. But it would be February, and the official kickoff the 50th anniversary doesn't start until October. So if it wasn't for the pandemic, yeah, Disney World would be not as empty, but it would be fewer people there. It's like say the summer or the fall. Um, I don't like Disney in the summer actually.
the show where we put our palates to the test with a 5-course meal. Who will survive and who will yeet? This is Eat It or Yeet It!
Whoa.
Wow. Guys, today's theme is Italian.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna start this off. Okay. Just got my first shot of the vaccine. Got the Moderna. Yay, Moderna. And so that happened today, and that's actually the name because the president called the shot the dose of hope. I'm having the daily dose of hope, which is me, as one of my playlists. So that's, I think it's kind of like perfect way to do this. I don't know how. I think I'm going to do it like every day. It is definitely open for chat, discussion, anything, anybody want to ask me any questions. There's not going to be real topics or focus or anything like that. Just, whatever. I try to keep putting in action figures. So probably be a different action figure every day. And I'll stop doing the action figures for this is not a test. No, those will be just regular deal. So I got the shot. I'm a little lightheaded. I don't know whether it's just because the chair I was sitting in was so uncomfortable, and it's like you have to wait 15 minutes. I don't know, but I do feel I do feel very a little bit lightheaded. Maybe I'm getting a slight headache from it. I don't know. Everything's probably too soon to tell. And so that's pretty much it for that. I keep putting chat over here. Chat is right here. Boop, boop, boop. If it even shows up, if nobody comes into chat, then it will remove the chat from the list. Or at least that's what it's been doing, and I'm no control over it. But yeah, probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. We'll be doing the daily dose, and it's basically this is basically anything that it's not channel related, it's not other people related. This is the daily dose of hope is supposed to just be about me, which makes it very easy for me to do because that's the one thing that I know actually very well. So I answer any questions. I already went through that.
Yeah, and this is right now just basically an introduction. I don't know if I'm going to title them. But yeah, we'll do that. Trying to think if I should have a set of rules or not for this. Something along the lines of that. I don't reveal real life people. I don't, if unless they give me permission. I might talk about artists and celebrities and things like that have influenced me. I will probably mention their names. If I have a connection or a working relationship with somebody in the industry, I will probably not mention their names. I probably will not mention if I do have that connection about somebody I was talking to who has influenced me. I will not, say the connection. There's some simple things like that, just kind of respect. And this isn't about them. This is about me. So that's one of the main reasons for it. So they might be a part of my life, but they're not a part of this. And we'll work it out. We'll work the logistics out. I maybe I won't. Loud Noises already has really good rules, and I don't think I need to have rules for every playlist. So we'll just wing it, as it were. I'm trying to think. I'll pick any type. I might pick a subject to talk about. We're going to do about 10 minutes, and I'll just cut it off at 10 minutes. And that's how we'll do that. I wish I had, in my brain, I had like a million things I wanted to talk about, and I was wondering if I could get them all within 10 minutes. And now here I am going, oh no, I probably shouldn't. That's a topic in itself, and I'm not. Again, we're just gonna wing it, and we're gonna probably cut it off here. I just guys want you to know that I think that you're all awesome, and thank you for joining me. And as much as I probably will say a million times how alone I am, we were really on this journey together. So if you're ever watching this, even if it's a month, 2 months, 2 years, 10 years down the road, just remember we're on this journey together. So I'm discovering it, and if you discover me, you're going to be discovering this the same. So like I said, still want this to be fun. I am a comedy channel, so we want to have that fun part, the fun factor in it as well. And obviously, and if it's not fun, it's not why do it. So we're going to continue on like that. So I want you all to be awesome and have an awesome day. And I don't know if I should sign this off with Cool Beans, but we'll do it for now. So Cool Beans. All right, bye. All right. I am live. I meant to do the announcement yesterday for this. I'm going to just hop right into it. I wanted it to be a daily dose, and obviously, due to time constraints and everything like that, let's try to get you guys a better picture of things.
Um, it was kind of impossible to do. Um, Real life stuff got in the way. So it's not going to be a daily dose. It's just going to be whenever I can get it done. So sorry about that. I apologize if anybody was waiting for me to go live. I don't know if anybody was really waiting. Hopefully they weren't. But this is going to be off the cuff, and whenever I can get to it. Yeah, I have real life obligations to do, and they're going to get in the way always. In fact, I'm extremely late today doing this, and it's because I have a backlog of parodies that I was writing, and there was some things, just as far as the parodies go, I'm just a lot of the lyrics I'm not happy with what I've written, and also I'm having trouble finding music. So I had to scrap 2 songs completely and rewrite them again with different music. So that was fun. One I didn't even finish. So I got that, that's done and out of the way. The singing is done for the time being. I still have, I think I have 11 more before I hit the 50 of the karaoke. Loud Noises 2. And I don't know if I'm going to continue to write parodies or if I'm going to sporadically write parodies in there, but hopefully that gets easier. I'm definitely thinking about doing TV shows and openings to anime and mostly cartoons and maybe some 80s TV shows. So that's good. This is not a test, so I'm not supposed to talk about the site. Let's talk about what we're talking about. Oh, all right, confusing myself. But that's the reason why the daily dose didn't happen, and why it's happening late today when I wanted to try to get it done before noon. So I'm going to, I'll probably do a This Is Not a Test right after this, and clear that all up. What I wanted to talk about yesterday, in which I'm moving to today, and I don't really have a discussion for today, is I wanted to do Waifu Appreciation Week, and it's going to be starting on the 4th. May the 4th be with you. So we're going to start it on the 4th, and we're going to run all the way until I believe the 10th or the 11th. Since VShojo now has 8 VTubers in their roster, I wanted to do at least one song for every one of them. So I'm going to carry it to 8 days. So it's going to start Tuesday and it's going to end on Tuesday. And Tuesday will be the last one. I'll have the parody songs for all of them, and they're all set. You just finished it up today, so yeah, that's cool beans on that. And no real major complaints. Where that's concerned, I'm having lots of fun doing it. I'd like to say it's a passion of mine. The nerdy, geeky stuff is definitely a passion of mine, and I guess it fits right into that. I have always had an anime waifu with pretty much every show that has ever been released. Originally we called them Best Girl,
and I can't even think of the name of the show that started it, but in an anime, they actually said, this is my waifu, and that sparked the entire change. And I'll probably in the description, I'll probably add what that anime was um, that started it all. But I just want. I know I'm not being. I know that I'm not being viewed a lot, so um, and that's fine. And um, when I had somebody come in the chat and they said really nice things about it, it really kind of boosted my spirits up a bit, and really helped out. There was also a dislike, as far as my channel is concerned. I'll save this for this is not a test. We're going to stick with talking about waifus. I as far as picking a best girl in Bishojo, I haven't. There's definitely members that I have a longer history with, and the longer the history, the more loyal I am to them. If that's what it means. I have I've been watching some of them for since their original debut, before their debut with Bishojo, and before I think the Bishojo was even formed. So there's definitely a little bit of bias, I guess, on my part when it comes to them. Switching from so I've always had the best girl in pretty much every anime, and I think I'm trying to think of what my first best girl was. I think it was from Ranma 1/2, and my best girl was obviously Shampoo. I mean, Shampoo is everybody's waifu. So if I had to pick my first waifu in an anime, or first waifu ever, it would probably be Shampoo from Ranma 1/2. She didn't have a lot of competition, so but I'm, like I was saying about where the VTubers are concerned. The longer the history I have with one or many of them, the more videos or the more posts and stuff like that, and the more laughs I have, the more I guess loyal, or where I put them a little above the others. It's not to diminish the VTubers who are either just starting out, or look at where I'm at. I'm not that far off from just starting out. So I'm not going to say I'm definitely supportive of them, and I'm definitely I definitely encourage the more exposure I have, the more I have to work with, especially if I'm writing a parody about it. And like I said, I have some VTubers who I could not, well, I don't have enough songs for them to, enough parodies to have their own playlist, but it's up there. There's a few that have it's I pretty much sing a song. Every song seems to have them in mind when I make the parody. I'm already at 10 minutes, and I'm going to actually cut this off, and I'm going to go right into doing this is not a test, and so I can explain what I'm doing on the page. I'll explain in more depth about the changes that I'm making and stuff like that. But this is Daily Dose, and thank you for being patient. And I called it Daily Dose again. I really want to call it Daily Dose, but this is just a dose of hope. and it's basically what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be really short, and 10 minutes has actually gone too long. So you guys have a wonderful night. I hope everybody's doing well, and if you're watching this, I hope you get to see it live in the next stream, which will be This Is Not a Test. All right, take care. Bye.
We are live. Going to talk about dyslexia. I hope my ADHD doesn't interfere with talking about it. But I have never been diagnosed with dyslexia. I've only heard what it is. My mentor had a very severe case of dyslexia. If you've ever read any of my writing, maybe even some of the lyrics to the songs that I have, the parodies, or the paragraphs, that the quick descriptions and stuff like that I've written, you'll see that there is definitely a disconnect with the English language, and by the Mayo Clinic's definition of dyslexia, I have it. I probably have had it my entire life, from birth, and it's pretty present even now after 50 years. I'd say that there was like a shame, or whatever, because there was definitely a stigma attached to dyslexia. There's also a stigma attached to hyperactivity, which is what I was diagnosed with as a child. And it's, I would say it's hard to talk about, but because I've never even talked about this at all. I've had very good editors and people backing me up pretty much all my life, and I've been able to get away with it, as it were. I know that this all kind of falls into my imposter syndrome, and I don't think I have imposter syndrome. I think I'm just a imposter. I'm a fake. I don't really feel like I am qualified, even for the current crappy job that I have. I don't feel that I am a fit, as it were. So does it make me an imposter because I'm doing the job, but I don't do it. I do it as well as I can do it. I'm not great at the job, so it is what it is. I'm okay. I get by, and that's pretty much how I've done this my entire life. It is also why I consider myself more of a storyteller than a writer. And with Facebook, I've been doing the novel ideas for that, and because I've been reading a lot of the long ass posts on there that I've written, and I even see now, it definitely takes time to see where my disconnect. I definitely drop words. I definitely drop phrases. I drop whole ideas because I've already moved on to the next idea that I had in my head, and if they were sequentially, it's like literally I'm going, let's say it goes from 1 to 10, or no, let's go 1 to 5. So I would literally go like 1, 2, 4, 5, and completely skip 3, never going back to it.
never saying, "Oh yeah, 3 is supposed to be here," because that's what I would consider as dyslexia. Be like I said, no, I didn't have shame to it because it was never recognized. I growing up, I've never understood people. Never understood what they were saying. I never understood what the meaning was behind what they were saying. I never understood why. I was definitely a late talker. Late walker, later. I was late at everything. The only thing I was early at was my birth, and it's definitely taken years to really see. I think that I'm fairly objective about myself, and I can take a step back and I can actually see what's going on and how things work in that respect. But yeah, dyslexia, I definitely think that it definitely makes things more difficult. Reading the Mayo Clinic saying there's no cure for it. There's only ways. The best treatment they have is how to deal with it, and the way I've actually dealt with it is I'm shortcuts. I have a shorthand. I became fairly empathic. Basically, instead of like knowing what somebody needs, I could feel what people need or what they want from me. Usually, most of the time it wasn't good. But I could feel it, and I think that it definitely it's how I tell stories. I could tell the same story 100 different ways because it's all based on who I'm telling the stories to. Very difficult for me, like in this type of scenario, making videos because I don't have any feedback. I don't have somebody to bounce off of and get where whether I'm losing them or whether they've got it and they need me to move on. I definitely have that. When interacting with people, it's why I like storytelling more than actual writing, because when I'm writing, I don't have, just like with making videos, I don't have that, that spark and stuff like that interaction with other people. And like I said, I think it's really weird for me to say it like that because I do consider myself an introvert. And I don't really like, mostly because I don't trust people. I don't like to be around people anyway. So it's like going, but you want to be a storyteller, and the only way you tell stories is with people, and it's like, yeah, it's a really catch-22, and I'm definitely caught in it almost always. It's the reason why I've been making these videos, and and I'm making this video, and I'm gonna literally blow right past the 10-minute mark, which I'm sorry about that, but it's kind of important. Going to where writing and everything like that is concerned, writing stories has been really difficult for me, and if I don't have somebody pretty much hounding what I've just written and criticizing it and having me fix it, and this is disconnection, there's a disconnection here and a disconnection there, this whole freaking 5 pages that you just read are just garbage, and we gotta you have to basically rewrite it so that it's something legible. I don't have that anymore in my life, but well, I could have it in my life, but I don't have it. It's not something that's being utilized. But as far as like test days taking and math and stuff like that, I have a system. It really is just playing multiple choice. It doesn't matter what the questions are. The question matters, but it doesn't matter what the question is. If somebody gave me multiple choice and they asked a question, I already have, I'm already either eliminating answers or already have whatever I think the answer is right away. And usually my first guess of the answer is, and I don't even need the whole question. I mean, I remember multiple choice questions and they're like these really long things. I don't even really need the whole thing. Usually somewhere in the middle has the complete answer that I need. I would skip the first bit and, read like the third or fourth sentence. And if I already have an idea of where it needs to go, I'd already have my answer. And also answers, they tend to have almost right answers. So that like if you're close, so you can actually eliminate things. Like if the three of the answers begin with R, probably the answer actually starts with R. So anything that doesn't have the R, I usually would eliminate that right away. And this is without even the question. If two appears at the end, or if a two appears at the end or the beginning, if it's a math question, if two appears at the end or the beginning, and there's 2 to 3 answers, including including the one that's been eliminated. And then I use the one that's been eliminated as my guide to what the right answer is, if I can figure that out. And I can usually just figure out, like I said, without even the question, I can figure out with multiple choice what the answer is. And usually my first guess is it. And it's a lot of guessing, but did really well on the SATs because of it. The place where I bombed on the SATs was my essay. I think I got 15 points for it total. But I think I did really well on the multiple choice section of the English and math. I completely exploded through it. So that's how I got such a high SAT score. And like I said, that's with difficulty. Not even I have to say, out of there's probably 100 questions total. But out of all 100 of them, I probably even understood probably maybe 10, and that might be too high. I probably didn't understand most of it. IQ test and things like that. It's one of the things that I have. It's not really a gift, but it's a kind of a knack, especially with things that have when IQ tests have multiple choice, and almost every IQ test that I've ever taken is all multiple choice. It's the reason why I always peg it right at whatever the highest IQ that the test has, I will peg it at that. 178 is typical for the highest that they have. I have taken a couple IQ tests that reach into the 110, 115 mark, and I'm usually pegged right at the highest possible number. And it literally is. It has nothing to do with my intelligence. I think I'm average intelligent, anyways. Without my learning disabilities, without all of that stuff, I think where my intelligence is probably about average. I'm probably, I think I have a 3-digit IQ. I think I would probably give myself that. But not much higher than that. Average, an average intelligence, mediocre. I don't go much higher than that. Languages, same thing. Understanding what people are saying, it's more of a feeling than the actual words that they're saying, or it's more how they're saying the words. So you can speak complete gibberish and nonsense or clicks whatever it is, it's the situation we're in. It is basically what they, anybody who's talking to me, especially in a foreign language, it's what they want from me. Most people are not giving things to me. They're not asking me, and if they're asking me a question, automatically, it turns itself around. So, if they need to, if they want to help me, I do kind of, I do think I look a lot. I think whenever I'm in a foreign country, I think I look lost all the time anyway. And fortunately for me, that a lot of people who see me, they want to, they want to practice their English to begin with, even if it's not very good. So it's like everything works out like that. And I definitely go native. I am not one for the tourist trapeze type things when I'm there. But again, this is, like I said, I knew I was going to get off track. But I don't know if anybody else, has, whatever, it's kind of difficult to describe with dyslexia because dyslexia is a broad learning people have learning disorders, and they usually say that it's either a chemical imbalance in your brain or the way your brain developed in the womb is where your learning disability happens, and for now there's no actual fix for it. Whatever it is, I tend to, when I learn something, I learn it and I retain it forever. It takes a long time for me to learn something, no matter what it is. It could be a math equation. It could be a chess move. Probably why I don't play chess, because it takes me it takes me a long time to really even understand what the Queen's Gambit is, or Salvini's. I think it's Salvini's defense. Whatever those things are, like I said, I've been shown them. I've used them. I have a quick idea of how it works and how to set things up to make those things happen. It is, it is what it is, as it were. But I just wanted to do a quick dose and, have people, I know it's really difficult for somebody to, know when I'm going to be running live. I'm not going to do another live. This is not a test after this, but I hope everybody's doing great. I hope you enjoy this video. If you want to talk more about, where you're at, or if you know somebody with learning disabilities and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to talk about them. I don't even like calling it a disability, but it's different. A learning difference. And the more we can accept people for being different, I think the better we are, and you can get what you want from that too. That's where I think a lot of people, especially like a lot of isolationists, don't understand about differences. Even though a person's a little slow, or we can I'm going to use the word retarded. If somebody's a little, I'm a little retarded if it's with a lot of things. So just because I'm slow doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I can't help you if you give me a hand. Obviously, if you leave me behind, I can't help you. You've gone too far ahead, and I'm not even in the same range as you. And I'm going to go on whatever my path is, in the interim. So, with or without you, I'm going on that. I will always help people who reach out. I will, I can always, be somebody to lean on in that respect. Um, because it goes into that goes right into how I feel about bullying and stuff like that. So, but we're gonna stick with this. But yeah, I most likely have had dyslexia all my life, and it's probably been there, and it affects everything. And I definitely come up with cheats and, like I said, shortcuts and things of that nature. But it is what it is. All right. I hope everybody's having a great night. Like I said, I've doubled the time again, so another double dose, double down, double deuce. Yeah, but have a great night, and I hope you guys are enjoying my loud noises and things like that. So, stay good to everybody. All right, cool beans. Bye. If it ends. How much higher do I need to go? I need to go that much higher. Should I bring her back? Yeah, that should work. Maybe a little bit lower. All right. So yeah, the first minute is me not succeeding. I thought it showed up a lot better, but it didn't. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. So I've already used up a minute and a half, and I haven't even begun to talk about what the dose is. Everybody pretty much is, or you should be, the hero in your own story, your life story, and everything like that. So this is dealing with storytelling. For me, I always have villain or villains. You usually could be a whole group. And the way I tell villains, and this is, I've even had myself as a villain for this very reason in some of the stories I've told, is the way I create a villain is I don't use the other person because I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know their motivations. And half the time they don't make sense to me at all. It's completely, they're completely baffling. I do like self-interest, people who are looking after their self-interest, even at the harm or detriment of others. I usually, when I encounter other people or have to interact with other people, the main thing that I do is see what their motivation is and whether that's a benefit to me or a detriment to me. And usually my continued interactions with them is depending on how much it benefits me. So I'm doing pretty much the same thing that I think that they're doing. I am in other people's stories in the world. There are people that I would consider villains in my story. And I would imagine, and in some cases it's pretty much guaranteed that I am the villain in their story. So instead of writing them as the villain, I take it from their point of view and I write myself. this is where a lot of the correlations that I do with things is the reason why I don't see differences between flags or passions, or I don't, other people who have all these things, I have my own passions and stuff like that, and I have things that I love, cherish, and protect. Everybody has those things, and my villains tend to go into the bully aspect of it, but it's how I bully, not how they are bullies. Again, they don't have self-interest in mind. Some bullies, I don't even know why. They choose, they would rather cut themselves off. They would rather lose so that other people around them won't gain. I tend to not write villains like that. I tend to the villains in my thing do not have that type of self-destruction in mind. And for me, it makes my villains very relatable and almost intertwining, that the reader could actually forget who's the villain in my story and who's the hero in my story. Especially if I'm the way the story is told, that I am the detriment, I am the bad in the story. The the other people in the story who normally would be the villains are my heroes, and when the hero is the villain type, I tend to not give any character complete purity. I have them think that they have it. I have them, admonish themselves and stuff like that for their self-righteousness. But no character is without flaws. I think that the flaws in every human being is basically what makes them kind of interesting. And I think that if you take that away from them, if you make a character who can do no wrong, can do no harm, can do, if you can't do any wrong, then you can't do any right. So you need to grow your characters, and even my younger characters, the ones starting out, I used to kind of relate them to like kind of Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is a flawed character right off the bat. He's jealous. He's envious. He is very selfish. And these are all the things that you have within a few moments. As soon as he meets R2D2 and C3PO, you know this about this character. You know that he is not, this a true heart or anything like that. He's a bit naive, but you know these things about this character. He has those in him, and I've always thought that's one of the reasons why Obi-Wan Kenobi did not train him, is because he saw too much of his father in him. That's one of the theories that I had, early on, and and also where Princess Leia was concerned, same thing. Too much of their father in them. And it's kind of sad because even the Padme that showed up in the prequels was kind of more of a cardboard character. She really didn't have much. Even supposed to be her undying love towards Anakin didn't quite make it in the screen. And I don't know if it's Natalie Portman's fault or not. It's definitely the script's fault. That definitely wasn't written in the scripts, but I've seen, there are better actors so that can actually can pull that off, with not, not being given much, and they make much more out of it. And the Padme character definitely didn't show up with that much a thing. So, but back to the villains. I think they're essential. I don't think that they're essential for real life. I think real life should be boring. I think real life should be kind of mundane. And I don't think you need that type of conflict in your life unless you are, doing a story about it. Um, I don't need it. I am definitely, when, if I can't, I'm only a fight if I can't flight. So if it's a fight or flight scenario, I am flight. I am out. I will burn bridges to get away if I have to, and I am not notorious for that, but that is definitely my modus operandi. So I am definitely like, I have been cornered, and I will fight if I have to, but usually fight is not my original response. Characters, even telling past stories about me, I usually leave that part out. That the part where I was forced into it, where I was cornered, or all that stuff. I usually leave that part of the stories out because that part of the story kind of like drags the story down, and it's not necessarily makes me look good or bad. It changes the dynamic of what I'm trying to say in the story. So I'm a little more brutal, even though you could probably say that the things that I've done equal to the brutality that I tell in my stories, but I don't. I'm a little more. I think things through a little bit more. I do weigh consequences, and I do have like this, but for the most part, when I tell a story of a villain, the villain is me. It is not an amalgamation of other people. It is things that they've done, but I usually justify those things with things of how I would have done them, or why I would have gotten to that conclusion. I create the chain of or of how I would have gotten to that thing, because I've ended up in some situations where I could definitely say that I did not, as far as not going as planned. It definitely was in that realm of everything went where everything goes wrong for me, and I don't see another option other than to end the situation with a violent response. And when I say violent response, people usually think it's usually physical, but I think mental brutality is even can be even more damaging. And I am very good at getting to people verbally, their weak spots and stuff like that. And I like I said, my initial response is to is to end it and get away from the situation, is to remove myself from the situation that's going on before it gets out of hand. There are a lot of times when that is not possible, and even with being a completely destructive in my wake to get out, I am still usually forced into it would for me to fight, it has to be forced into this isn't I'm a diplomacy over physical violence. And I am diplomacy. I am over. We're going to settle this before we get into even a mental or verbal altercation. And I do consider those fights too, because whenever I talk about fights, I talk about how I never win fights, even ones where people have declared me the victor. There is no winning. It is survival. I only fight for my survival. I only fight for and like I said, I there are hills that I will die on, and I will fight I will fight to survive. And again, I think that because it is the hill that I will die on, that is one of the reasons, that I've been forced into the situation where I can't get away from it because that's the hill I will die on. And that's.
Hi, welcome Raiders. Dun, 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 dun. Ting Ray Ray, thank you for the raid. Oh. I really appreciate that. This is my follow-a-thon 100K video celebration. Thank you, welcome Raiders. I am just a little gremlin. We got a few things going on. That is me, yeah. This is me when I started streaming. I wasn't always a VTuber. And in fact, I wasn't going to be a gremlin either. I was going to be a platypus VTuber originally. Why, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So join in. We're watching the really old videos right back from back in the day, almost 3 years ago when I started streaming. I did tell you that. I think I did. Yeah. I'm really proud of it. 1,000 videos on YouTube is... I'm very happy with that. So, you know what I didn't do? Let's give you a shout out. Murder by the Numbers. Was that fun? Oh yeah, do what you gotta do. Stretch, eat, sleep. And thank you for the lurk. I appreciate that. We're gonna get back to the videos anyway. All right.
That's how it works. But that's how I would write a villain.
Let's go back a little bit.
Where it would for me to fight, it has to be forced into, this isn't, I'm a diplomacy over physical violence, and I am diplomacy. I am over, we're going to settle this before we get into even a mental or verbal altercation. And I do consider those fights too, because whenever I talk about fights, I talk about how I never win fights, even ones where people have declared me the victor. There is no winning. It is survival. I only fight for my survival. I only fight for, and like I said, there are hills that I will die on, and I will fight to survive. And again, I think that because it is the hill that I will die on, that is one of the reasons, that I've been forced into the situation where I can't get away from it because that's the hill I will die on. And that's how it works. But that's how I would write a villain. These are their motivations. I know the motivations of the character, but I also get into how they get to that conclusion. And I usually do it the way I would do it. And I know that I'm very far from being a normal person. So it's the worlds that I create are filled with Sean's all over the place. So it's, and I think that if there was a bunch of me's running around, we would definitely be in, high conflict with each other all the time. So, yeah, and I wouldn't want that anyway, because that would be kind of boring. Because we wouldn't get anywhere. But scenarios, situations, advantages, even the luck. Um, those are the things that play roles into how villains are formed in my world. And like I said, it's not, you know, any villain that I've ever written is definitely not even close. Even if it's actions that somebody has done to harm me, they're not even close to the person that it seems to be. It is me. All pretty much all characters in every story, all of them, male, female, animal, sentient, you know, AI computers is really just me. Even it, not even something else outside of me. Um, and I think that that also speaks to the diversity of me, or I shouldn't say just of me, the diversity of a human being. What human beings are so diverse that they can be all of those things. So when you're telling a story, you're only seeing a fraction of what a person actually is. And that's amazing. And most people don't, you know, it's like the stupid, you know, I was going to call it stupid. The Myers-Briggs test has it. There's a reason for it. But the problem is that maybe I have, you know, DIDS or multiple personality disorder, but I am an amalgamation. You know, at any given time, I could be any of those things on the Myers-Briggs test. I can have any of the associations, and not just a small bit. It's not like, oh well, you're mostly an introvert, but you have a little bit of extrovert in you. No, I can be 100% introvert and I can be 100% extrovert according to the test. So the test for me, where you know, I believe I'm an INFP. As an INFP, those are just things that I tend more comfortable. I'm more comfortable being an INFP than being like an ES ENSJ. I don't know what the complete opposite of an INFP is. I have that in me, and not just like, again, not like, oh, he's got like, it's a percentage of Sean. No, I can be that character. I can be the extrovert. I can be those things without any hesitation. That's the reason. One of the reasons why most people who see me or have known me for years will swear to you that I am an extrovert. And the reason they'll swear to you I'm an extrovert is because I'm not shy. Just because I'm not shy doesn't mean I seek power from other people. I seek the attention and that I need that, grouping. And I don't know how you would get power from other people. I don't know how you could be an extrovert online, because it's a very solitary thing. Even with people, even when people show up in the chat and stuff like that, the chat, even when people show up in the chat, and I guess they would be higher right here. Even when people show up in this chat here, it definitely makes me feel good, because it makes me feel like somebody's actually listening to me. But as far as me seeking power from them, I can't get the power from them. Watching a live chat, I can't get the power, the power that they're exuding, because pretty much that's what you do, especially as an interview, is you basically exude the power from within. That's how that's where you draw it up and out. And extroverts love to siphon that out. And that's why being around people physically for me is very, very draining, because I'm not getting anything back from them, but everybody takes from me, it feels like. And that's why I would always consider myself an introvert. And that also plays into a lot of my villains tend to be more of the shy, more of the, what do you call them? Introspective villains, because that's how I see myself. And I give them traits that I have that I don't like, while I give my heroes traits that I do like. about myself, the things that I want, I try to expand on. Those are the traits that I try to give my heroes, and the traits that I don't like about myself. I actually don't like being an introvert. I don't like being exhausted. You know, I don't like having a conversation with somebody and literally just being physically exhausted from it. And it could be any conversation, and I have that all the time. And I've already gone 20 minutes, and I keep saying that I'm going to be doing these in 10-minute shorts. And I'm sorry, I spent too much time messing with the figure. But I love Ghost in the Shell, so and I think, yeah, you can see her all the way down. But yeah, so that's really where it's at, and I hope everybody's having an awesome day, and I hope the daily doses, you know, gives you a boost up. I'm kind of hoping that people would actually want to basically follow this daily, but I'm gonna get. I am really thinking that this is going to take over. I'm definitely going to try to get these things shorter. I think it's because I have too much to say, and I could do a part 1, part 2, part 3. You know, like this is already 21 minutes. I could do 3-part, you know, 4 parts and stuff like that, and keep it down, you know, around 5 minutes, which is really where I want to be with these videos. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful night. We're gonna end this with a big cool bean. So cool beans. This is awesome, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully tomorrow. It might be a little too high, but we'll keep it. All right. Today we're going to talk about ASMR, or frequencies, or sounds that attract people, and mostly I'm going to be dealing with my voice. If you are new, or if this is one of your earlier videos, you should know that I absolutely 100% hate the sound of my own voice. I do have hearing problems, hearing issues. So what it actually sounds like to people, what I'm receiving back, especially a recording of my voice, I don't like the way it sounds. It doesn't really work for me, and that this also extends to other people's voices, other songs, way people sing and stuff like that. Even the way some people talk. I think I hear different pitches and different things, and there's things I'm not hearing, which kind of can grate on me and stuff like that. So it's my voice personally is one of those things that when I hear it back, especially a recording, I don't like the sound of it. But I have been told, and this is only what others have said, is that I have a very sexy voice, and it is ASMR. And for years, I didn't even know what the hell ASMR was until 2, maybe 3 years ago. And people were doing the aras, and so I was going to do today, try to keep this dose a little shorter than most of the doses that I've been doing, because I've been doing between 10 and 20 minutes when I wanted to be doing between 5 and 10. So we're gonna just start right off the bat, just try to do it like this. Me, since most people have talked to me, it's just my voice that actually does it to them. I'm just going to do that with just regular speaking voice. Then I'm going to try to do it a little more sultry, and then I might do impersonations. All right, so we're just going to get it out of the way. So the first one is just regular, and it's an ada ada. Yeah, and then we're going to go, I guess, more seductive, and we're going to do ada ada. And we can even do a little bit, add a little bit more twist to it, and we can do ada ada. Do some impersonations. Donald Duck. George McFly. Ada, Ada. Do you think I should swear? Christopher Walken, maybe? Ada, Ada. We can do William Shatner or James T. Kirk. Ada, Ada. Since we're in Star Trek, why don't we do Spock? We can do Ada, Ada. Nah, that didn't work. That's about it. I could probably do a few more, but But Ada, Ada is seems to be a big thing. So, and I don't know why that's mostly related to ASMR, but asthma. But I hope if you do find my voice sexy or appealing in the ASMR way, I'm glad I can do that for you. It's one of those things that I personally don't have that attraction to my own voice. And it's not that I say that I hate my voice, and it's my voice to me is very hard to listen to, and with all the songs that I'm doing, it still is very hard for me to listen to it. And I've had some people say that they actually like the songs. I can't even tell you if I'm on pitch or not. I know that most times when I listen back to it, I miss the mark completely. So, what can you do? And that also goes into where the rules aren't for the viewer. The rules are for my rules, and it's kind of the only reason that I tell everybody what the rules are, is so that they can know what to expect from it, or know what not to expect. Not to expect this grandiose, wonderful singing voice that exists. But I've even told that my singing is really good too. So like I said, I do have hearing problems and hearing issues. So it's what I'm hearing back, and that also affects me singing as well, because what I think is right in my head is not getting translated to what I'm actually singing. So, I don't know. I don't know where it all is, but we're gonna figure that out. I'm keeping it under 10. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day and cool beans. So take care. There's like a million things that I was going to talk about. And it all seems to just go right back to talking about the site and talking about making and everything like that. And I think it's encouraging. A lot. I'm talking. I use a lot. Like it's a big deal. A handful, as encouraging as a handful of people have been. It's probably the better way to put it. I really don't feel like I belong. And not, YouTube now with YouTube, now that I'm doing YouTube, it's just basically the latest place where I just don't feel like I fit into what it's supposed to be. I feel that I am a force of destruction, and I am messing up whatever continuity or things are. And yes, my site is very small and doesn't have that effect over the larger picture. The people who have liked my videos, and it's all few and far between. So it's, I think people come in. My average view time is only a couple seconds. So people, most viewers, as it were, don't even, it's probably an accident autoplay. And they're just going on to wherever they wanted to be. So I'm not even in that, the must see, must do type of deal. But the likes and dislikes and stuff like that for the videos, you don't get it. Anybody who's liked or disliked any of the videos, you just don't get why I'm doing this and what it's for. And it's getting a little frustrating. And two of the latest loud noises got somebody coming in, and I think that they saw for like 10 seconds before they disliked it, and they were out. So it was just basically a drive-by dislike for two of them. And the people who like it, I don't even know how. I maybe I'll check to see how long that viewer watched the video for. And I think people don't understand that when you're this small and this contained, any little change, any disturbance, as it were. I have a metrics that actually shows me how long people spent on my site. I can see how many videos they're watching. It's not very difficult when there's so few, when you're getting one an hour or one, in a span of like 5 minutes. It's not difficult to see how long somebody has spent, watching the videos. I mean, do people think that this is a secret? I know all my subscribers, even the ones that are hidden. I know who they are. And it's like, you don't know how, like, the tiniest little bit of thing, because the site is so small. It's not like I'm getting 20 subscribers a day. If I was getting 20 subscribers a day, it would be very difficult, especially people who are masking their subscriptions. I am getting a subscriber less than a week. I'm getting a subscriber one every 2 weeks. And it is what it is. I'm not getting the views. Subscribers I could give a shit about. I don't care if people subscribe. Don't subscribe. And if you don't like my video, stop watching it. It's that simple. Why? Why would you put yourself through it? These videos, I can't sing to begin with. So don't even watch it. Don't even bother. Don't waste your time on me. Why? I thought foolishly when I started doing this in February that I would have, that there would be a buildup. And the only thing that I was doing right is consistently posting all the time and, just making videos to make videos. I started writing videos. I started, trying to culminate how it is. I was going to phase out loud noises. Has always been kind of the plan. I love doing it. I think that if people request it, I think I will just turn it into just doing requests. But as far as my own personal thing, I can make my own videos. I don't have to share it. I don't have to share. I hate the sound of my voice. So why would I wouldn't even want to have videos that I would listen to that I'm singing in. And I'm sorry that it's that much of a burden. And I'm sorry if people who like it, that it's that much of a burden on you that you can't even comment of why you like it. That's what I want to know. That's where I want it to be. Did you laugh? Did you like it because this? Or did you just freaking feel sorry for me? I don't care what the reason is. Just say I feel sorry for you. So here's a like. Or quit while you're ahead. Here's a dislike. But comment. Talk about it. This lack of engagement is absolutely frustrating to no end. And I think that's what YouTube is. And I didn't foresee that when I started doing this. I don't want to really make videos. It's, it actually is, I have very limited, I think I've discussed this before about I have very limited free time in my life to be doing stuff like this. I have to, keep a roof over my head. I have to put food on my table. I have to eat. I have to do those things. Those things have to happen. And then I have whatever free time I have left over. And I was using the free time that I was trying to play games and interact with stuff, but due to the pandemic, and also I was not having fun with some of the games that I was playing. I was spending the time doing these videos. They're probably going to stop. I mean, I can't even talk about that. And I'm sorry that I'm quitting. I'm like the millions of other, thousands or however many people have started up this year and quit. I think I'm going to just join those. That's a group I guess I belong to. I obviously don't belong to this group, is what I'm trying to say. And maybe that's what it really boils down to. I don't need the fame. I definitely don't need the aggravation. It's, this is actually dipping into time that I really can't spare. And I would love to do it full time, but it's obviously, I'm obviously not making it. I'm obviously not doing it. I have nearly 200. I have 200 videos. I know people who have 10 videos. I know some people who have 4 videos, and they're trying to make it as a YouTuber. And here I am sitting on nearly 200 videos, and and what do I have to show for it? My highest views less than 50. My highest rated, most viewed video since I started is less than 50 views of the billions of views that YouTube gets every day. That's what I rate at. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there, and I know I'm not for everybody. And maybe I haven't found my niche, and I haven't found the group that I want to belong to. I have until I believe the 17th of July. I have loud noise videos that are just going to basically play out. I don't know if I'm going to do another dose, because I wanted to start doing that daily, because this was going to actually transition into replacing loud noises after it was done. I have about 3 songs. Let me just grab. This is what I read. This is what I read off when I make loud noises, and these are all the songs that I've done so far. And I have, I make a hard copy of it. I have lyrics. I have lyrics here. Each one of these is a song that I've done. I can turn to any one of them, and it's just sing once, and that's it. And this is what I did. This is what I've been doing. This is supposed to be fun for me. This is supposed to be recreational. It's supposed to be kind of goofing off. I have about 3 songs that I want. I have a bunch of songs that I can't get music for, and I don't know what I'm going to do with those, and I'm going to probably just let them drop, and I'm probably not going to make them. I'm at that point. I am, and it could be my depression talking, and tomorrow my mania could change. I could change my mind and start making videos again, and doing all this stuff. T'Challa, you are falling down. Now you are not on the screen there. T'Challa. Okay. And I'm just I don't know. I'm kind of, I think I'm reaching my limit is really where I'm at. I don't like my job, and I have to deal with it. And to feel like I'm being ignored on the place that I'm supposed to be, kind of winding down, I think is what hurts the most. The likes and dislikes, and basically the drive-by likes and dislikes, what is it? It means nothing. It means you're ignoring me anyway, and not only that, you're basically giving me a middle finger. Or the likes, you're basically, you're feeling sorry for me. Well, don't feel sorry for me. I don't need to be famous. I could probably use to be forgettable, if it really boils